challenges also, because you've got the Barbican, which is, and then you've got the Kentish hare, which is obviously, but Kentish hare was your bread and butter throughout the year, because it's in sort of what we call it commuter belt area, which is, and then you've got the coast where it's very seasonal. How are you coping with all that? You've got how are you coping with all with both those different businesses? One seasonal and one is sort of
Well,
on a regular basis.
I mean, like with the Plymouth operation,
Yeah,
it's a city. Plymouth is a big city, so
yeah,
that you do get a seasonal aspect of it in the summer,
yeah.
but because we're such a big city in the southwest,
Mhm.
it is all year round. It is all year round great trade. So two very, very different businesses, in obviously one in Kent, one in Devon, but offering a very similar style of cuisine. At one point, we used to run the same menus at both sites almost when we first opened the Kentish Share. But, you know, because of the longevity of them, there's a good local following. We have great customers, fantastic relationship with customers, first name terms with a lot of people. And then a lot of new people come down. So yeah, in the southwest, you'll see an influx of different people in the summer months. But because it's a city, you get that good roll of business going throughout the year. And then again with Kent, you know, we're only an hour out of London, and it's you get a great different mix of people. And very different areas, but very, very similar cuisine. And we utilize our suppliers. So obviously they're drastically down, like I mentioned. But for example, our seafood from day boats, we actually buy big, split the order, and FedEx fresh fish up to the southeast. And we use great local butchers from both ends of the country, but for certain elements, and the majority of it is from the southwest, we have that sent up to the southeast. And we use our teams, although they're apart, they interact together with regards to pricing, what's seasonal, what's great. And we just offer what we offer. We've had some great. One of a big perk for us in these doomy months was, you know, the Michelin Awards come out recently, and we've just got a bib gourmand at the Kentish Hare, which is fantastic. And not for me and Chris, it's because it's for the team. It's it's a nice boost for the team, and that's what really got me about it. Or the first thing I thought about was, you know, the head chef, the managers that have been with us from day one or worked alongside us for years, down to the part-time waitress that was really good at upselling a dessert wine to the crew in Plymouth that retained our Michelin plate now that we've had there for the last 5 or so years as well. And it's just, you know, we phoned the guys, we're like, no way, have you seen the news? Have you seen you know, what's come out in the press and stuff like that? I was like, well done, team, and you know, let's crack on as soon as we can get back on it. It's still things like that have helped, because it makes you want to push and drive for more.
Absolutely. When we've had all these restrictions now, this is the third one now. How does it, when every time there was a lockdown and you started to, you know, you opened, there was, and then suddenly you had to close again. How did the stockpile, you know, must have been a whole stockpile of produce, which must have just, what did you do with all that?
It was, basically the short notice that we had, obviously didn't help at all. So yeah, you don't get me wrong. We run our businesses and it's all fresh food. So you're on the phone every day to a supplier, or you're phoning it through in the evening after dinner service to come in the next morning. We ended up sitting on a bit of stock. We weren't sat on absolutely loads. I've heard some horror stories with other people that I know of restaurants, really bad, where they bought big and you know, they were stuck with it. We gave ours out to the staff. We didn't really freeze a lot because we don't really have a lot of freezers, to be honest, at our sites. There was one thing that caught me out on this third lockdown. I was on the phone to the fish supplier, and there's just been a landing of some sea bream, example, and I think there was some monkfish. He, you know, the normal thing was, well, if I buy this much, what are you going to do me a kilo? And he was like, well, if you take the lot, yeah, you can if you take the lot, I'll give you this kilo price. And I was like, right, okay, well, that'll get me through Friday night, Saturday. I bought I came home for an hour in the afternoon. By the time the fish had arrived, by the time I came back and started prepping it, I already knew that night we had to shut.
Terrible, isn't
I looked at that invoice, looked up at an empty restaurant, and I just, oh well, it looks like we're going to be eating some seafood because
Yeah,
Oh,
I
good.
mean, I say we didn't like we dodged the bullet. I think we had about 50 or 60 people booked at the Barbican Kitchen for lunch on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
You know, and we were uber just uber tight on everything. You know, it wasn't reduced menus, but yeah, it was just we were just careful on the purchasing, but. You know, with the pub, obviously, that was a nightmare because we lost so much in barrelage.
yeah,
You know, we have some great ales. We work with a microbrewery, Tunbridge microbrewery, so we have our own. You know, you go and get a pint of the Kentish Hare. So yeah, barrelage. That was a different. That was a new thing for us. Obviously, you know, we're quite big on. That side of it as regards to like cellar management and everything. You know, it's not honestly the food is that's the relaxing bit. The cooking bit is the relaxing bit. It's everything else that goes on when you're running a business.
But what else in terms of sorry, I'm just digressing. It's just how you with the Brexit situation, how does the pricing of your seafood being impacted?
we'll phone up, and sometimes they'll call us. We have got a relationship with one guy where he actually lets us know what the catch is as he's coming back in to harbour.
Yeah.
But we just buy seasonally and what they've got and what we want to fit into the menus. You know, there was a bit in the press the other day. I saw how they're trying to get the UK now to eat different seafood that was really, really popular and big sales for them on the continent. But obviously, because of the quotas and everything and selling across abroad now with charges, they want to try and keep their income there. But like, for example, Meg Rim Sole, we've used for years and we use it on our set menu. That's now called Cornish Sole. They've rebranded the name of it. We were buying it for years because it was always a great price, but it shows you how on the continent that's so popular, but UK people wouldn't touch it because of the name, and also they've never had it before.
Yes. And because also, what about olive oil and things which are non-UK?
Yeah, sure.
Like olive oil. How is that going to affect you too? Because that's going to be an interesting sort of situation where
it is a bit of the unknown for us because you're right. Olive oils, pomace oils. We use a lot of UK rapeseed oil, to be honest.
Oh, good.
We very much like that anyway. But yeah, we still use olive oils for certain dressings, etc. But we're quite minimal on that. So obviously, you know, when that small can's gone, it's gone. I think when we come back, there's going to be a lot of how much? Why is that £5 a tin?
Absolutely.
I think we're going to get a lot of that for continental products now because of the charges.
Absolutely. And no one's really talking about that.
Because no one really knows yet, Reza. Until we're all back open, that's the problem.
You wait to that invoice come. Well,
exactly. That's opening up a whole can of worms.
No, don't let the invoice come in. Find out what the price is.
It's a good job we like UK rapeseed oil, I think.
Yeah, I think the UK will have to be producing a lot of rapeseed oil to just sustain itself and everyone else.
It's it's going to be interesting. You know, once we're back open and you actually, I think then you'll see the extent of where that is, and we'll like we've done with recessions, and you know, we owned the business when foot and mouth happened, which was years ago.
I remember that. Yes.
Yeah, it was a while ago, wasn't it? And honestly, that affected us then.
Yeah. Yes. So when you do get open again, how limited are the covers? Because your covers are going to be also impacted because your takings are going to be impacted. It's a double-edged sword here because with the social distancing, you've got to have less covers, etc. How are you going to cope with that?
So what we've done, say for example, for a country-ish size pub scenario, obviously went everything to government guidelines with regards to social distancing, spacing of tables, where people stand, how they come in through the front door, to the one-way system, to the way that they leave. So we know how to do that. Not being big-headed, I think we really nailed it. Because we put so much work into it the first time round, and the feedback from customers was like, you've really thought about this. We feel safe, and it is creating that atmosphere where, just from the way they're served to the, from the way they walk in, etc. We had to change their format though. So we do food now in the bar area more than we ever did. But we have, instead of a bar menu, it's the restaurant menu. But now, because you can't have as many drinkers, the good thing with the site in Kent is we have a nice big beer garden. And so you could use that outside space. But obviously, we're in the UK, it's weather dependent. It's not all year round, let's face it. And so you can grab that and maximise that when you can. When I say maximise it though, as you know, there'll be a certain amount of tables with tape on them, because you've spaced it all.
You have.
We managed with Ken to roughly do more or less the same, a similar cover, but more spread out, using the garden and using the bar area for food, because you couldn't have vertical drinking anyway. With the Barbican kitchen, we had to take out quite a few tables and space everything. We have a private room at the Barbican kitchen that we used to use obviously for small product launches, events, tasting menus, etc. We obviously took out the larger tables and put smaller tables in there and used that as an extension of the restaurant. The brasserie should be a 100 cover restaurant, but we floated around without any turns around the 60 cover mark. So it shows that you're 40% down on your covers, but then you've got to try and adjust your service time. So if you can turn a quarter of the restaurant for the people that want to eat later. But as you know, a lot of people want to eat around the same time anyway. So it really depends. It really depends on the customer, when they want to eat. And also, ultimately, if you're full at certain times, you're full, and you've got to stick to your guns on it. As much as you want to say, gone are the days of, oh, come on, we can squeeze another two in. All of that's gone. And then I think a concern for us is with, if you come back and you're back into a tier system, obviously we had one site that's tier 3 was shut. The brasserie could still open in tier 2 because it's a different county, different area. But, it's that constant checking with every reservation. Are you from one household? You can only be from one household. And people would try it on with you. Or you'd stand there and think, are they from the same household? Because we really want to make sure that we're respect what the guidelines are, and trade properly and legally, and not encourage anything else. But you do notice in a city, when you went, oh, should we pop out for lunch now, Rez? You can't, because you've got to be from the same household. So that did affect our covers big time.
I'm sure.
And then obviously the knock-on effect of it all is, we're picking up the costs of if you are down. We hated being in the scenario with staff members that weren't on full time, where they were part time, where you're like, oh, I'm really sorry, we're not going to need you now tonight, or we're not going to need you at lunch service now. You had to try and manage it, engage it every day. And so I mean, we've got to have an open mind that we're gonna come back into it that way. And it's not going to be like, boom, you're back open, everybody's back to normal. It's going to be gradual, and we've got to try and manage that and the costs of that. Furlough's been extended, as we all know, which there's no choice, because if not, it'll be mass unemployment. Obviously a big thing that helped, but we passed it back onto the customer. We didn't take it as a business, really, was the cut with the VAT rate. Because obviously, you look at your costs and what we're going to lose on the awkward services. It kind of
balances out.
So
Gosh, it's I don't know how people are going to continue. I think the businesses now, for example, leading up to when we do open, when the green button gets sort of pressed, we don't even know when that's going to happen yet.
I know.
And that it's this unknown, and it's this unknown and this uncertainty, which is really sort of creating a lot of havoc to everybody, actually. And but I didn't know how others are, because I've heard some horrible stories that after the third one, people have just saying that's it, we're not going to be opening, and there's been a lot of casualties in the business.
There is, I said it earlier, there is only so long you can go on for because of your monthly outgoings, even with the furlough and with a great landlord that would help you out on your rent payments or whatever. You've still got bills and you've still got costs, and also ultimately, like with us, we're the guys that are responsible for it and taking a hit with the finance again and everything else like that. We've got families, we've got mortgages, we've got costs, and I mean, you've got to try and hang in there for as long as you can. Everybody's position's different financially, and where we can help each other out, we do. And it's just trying to sit in there for as long as you can. But yeah, we're all holding out for that date, and we're holding out for announcements. We check every day anyway, just because sometimes what comes out in the press, you might get it 48 hours beforehand, or there's talk of, or there's a rumor of. Not that I'm one for like trying to believe in rumors or anything like that, far from it, but you do find yourself grabbing at bits and noticing bullet points, thinking, oh, is it going to be May? Or are we going to be back for Easter? Or maybe it's going to be April. Who knows? Because more people are being vaccinated, and it is the unknown. It's the unknown.